Planet 2022. Did you miss me? I guess I wasn't around last week, was I? So reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. I was not eaten by a bear or a whale. I did get a bunch of blisters. So for those of you who don't know, we did miss last week's Shaw Planet because I happened to be out kayaking in British Columbia. And it was epic. It was amazing. And for those of you who might want pictures or want to know a little bit more about the experience, just drop me a direct message. I'll be happy to share some of the pictures. I didn't want to make this my vacation slideshow broadcast as well because well, let's just say that probably wouldn't have helped you with your long-term investing and financial planning needs. So, but yeah, it was amazing. It was epic, and I hope all of you had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. For those of us who have either lost a loved one or know loved ones who served, thank you for those who gave everything and sacrificed so that we have the freedoms. I'm able to have this conversation with you on social media because a lot of people have fought for our freedom. So thank you to our service members who have given everything and the families of those. And I don't just mean the people who have lost their lives on the battlefield. I mean, people who have long-term illnesses, PTSD, and I think we forget about those sometimes as well. So people who have actually, suffered some of the long-term effects of serving and dealt with mental health issues and even taken their own lives. Those are sometimes the forgotten casualties. So I had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. We saw friends, we saw family, we had our traditions. We walked the Brooklyn Bridge, got some Grimaldi's pizza. You know who didn't have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend? The folks of Uvalde, Texas, and the folks of Buffalo, and then a bunch of other folks out there who have been impacted by gun violence. I'm not going to make this broadcast about gun violence, but I think there's an opportunity here because when we an opportunity to at least educate folks, not about guns necessarily. We can always have a separate private conversation about that. I've got some passionate thoughts on it for sure, and they get more and more passionate every time there's one of these events. But let's just say you don't have the platform that a Steve Kerr, head coach in the NBA, has in order to make his message known. Or let's just say you're not a LeBron James or another celebrity. How do you impact change you want? Whether it is firearms or maybe it's environmental. I was out in the wilderness kayaking for 4 days and with a great group of guys, but that outdoors, that wilderness, that nature, that serene scene, maybe you want to do something to protect that scene. Maybe, like I said, it is gun violence. Maybe it's governance. Maybe you care a little bit about equality in the workplace. Well, what's become more and more popular from an investment standpoint are what we call ESG, environmental, socially responsible governance type investing strategies. You might decide, look, I want to make money. I want to invest in a certain way. And I want it to be part of my overall financial plan. Because let's face it, all investing has to be part of a financial plan. And if you're not sure what investing with a financial plan looks like, we'll drop a video in these comments to give you an idea of how financial planning could look and how it looks when we're doing it. But if the idea is, look, I don't just want to invest for the sake of growth of my money, although that's an important goal, I also want it to be a way to influence companies. I want to invest in companies that are consistent with my beliefs. Maybe it's my religion. Maybe it's my political beliefs. Maybe it's my faith. Maybe it's things that I feel strongly about that needs to be impacted. Whether it is tighter scrutiny for certain types of behaviors like firearms, whether it is somebody who pollutes actively or gets environmental credits. So ESG has become a growing phenomenon, and we're having more and more conversations with our clients about how to invest with your conscience, how to invest with things that actually matter to you. Now, does that mean you got to sacrifice rates of return? Probably not. I think you have to be intentional about it. It also means, look, if I'm in the scope of retirement, if I'm in a window where I'm going to be using some money and I need to have a certain rate of growth, is that going to be where I invest with ESG, with these socially responsible funds or socially responsible investments? Or am I going to do something with more of a long-term investment? That's got to be part of your plan itself. But the point that I wanted to share with you is there is a way to effectuate change. There is a way to invest with your conscience and still meet your financial goals. You just have to have the right conversations about it. And the last thing that I'll share with you about this too, and by the way, if you haven't already subscribed, if you haven't already liked our page or anything like that, we're sharing this information throughout the week. Obviously, we're going to do our shows once a week, but we're sharing this information throughout the week. So certainly smash that like button or that follow button, and you'll continue to get these updates as we actually as we put them out there, not just once a week. But let's just say that that is something that you want to make sure that the companies that you're investing with, the advisors that you're investing with, the funds or the companies that you're investing in are truly ESG, because as is the case with human nature, wherever there's a will, there's a way. So there are a lot of companies out there that will claim ESG status, or they're sort of like putting themselves out there as checking a certain box or a certain category, but they may not necessarily be ESG compliant. And this is something that the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, is actually looking into. There's going to be, I believe, tighter regulations around these coming up soon, kind of like the organic food phenomenon, right? So similar sort of thing. Like at first, everybody kind of like claims that they're organic, and then they might not be organic, and then eventually the lawyers get involved. So I suspect something like that's happening with ESG. But there are tried and true. There are proven sort of big players in this market. So if ESG, environmental, socially, governance related investing is important to you, if you don't know how to make a change, if you don't know how to make a difference, but this is something that you want to explore as a way to invest with your conscience, there is a way to do it. It's not my place to speak on behalf of those who are grieving right now. But if this does happen to make its way to somebody who's been impacted by all the recent events with Uvalde, with Buffalo, with the church shooting, with any of those shootings, just know that mine and my heart's family is with you. And if there's anything that I can do to help, hopefully my spreading this message helps somebody else to spread a message or maybe even make an impact. But aside from that, let's all be kind to each other. Let's all do whatever we can to comfort those who have lost so much. And that being said, stay safe, stay cool. It's 95 degrees, I believe, in New Jersey today. And if there's anything that we can do to be of service, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you back next week. Bye.